So we're going to practice our letter B's and D's again because, like I was saying yesterday, lots of times we like to switch them up. So you will need practice page 7, and you will also need a scissors, glue, and a pencil. So the first thing we should do is put our name on the top with our pencil. And then our job will be to decide what pictures over here start with the letter B and the sound B, like in balloon, or start with the letter D and the sound D, like in dog, or maybe neither of those sounds. And then we're going to cut them out, we're going to glue them in the correct spot, and we're going to write the letter on the line so that our hand gets extra practice for making the correct letter to go with the correct sound, okay? So before we start cutting and gluing, let's talk about what the pictures are. I am going to point to the picture, say what it is, and I would like you to repeat it after me or echo me. That way we all get a chance to practice saying the words. Remember, to do this, most of the time we're going to need to use our English, because otherwise it might not match the letter. Sometimes they do. Those are my favorite words, but lots of times it doesn't match. Say bug. And you can make that beginning sound and the action. Already our brains are thinking, I know where this one goes, but we're not going to cut it out just yet. Say doll. Dress. Bag. This one isn't a word, but it's the letter B. The action for B would be bounce the ball. Bus. Boat. Drum. Desk. And here we have the letter D, and of course the letter D says D. Okay, so now let's cut. So our letter B and D, that just the letter and not any picture, we're going to set those aside and do something with them on the back of the page. So I'm going to put them over here. Don't throw them out. Then we're going to go back to our pictures. And now that we have talked about the names and what each one is called, we're going to decide where it goes. So this is the great time if you think that you can do a challenge and you do it all on your own and then come back to the video and check at the end, that would be fantastic. I would like you to have more chances to do things on your own and then check with me. But for some people, it might still be a little too hard, or they might not remember the names of these and they need to hear them again. So if it's too hard and you aren't ready for the challenge, then you can do it along with me. But think in your brain, is this something I could do on my own, or do I need help with each picture? If you don't need help with each picture, then you can try it on your own, come back to the video and check. Okay? That's the way that our brains can grow bigger and bigger, and we can get smarter and smarter and do things all on our own. All right, so if you're doing it along with me, we'll need our glue stick now and a picture. So you should probably spread your pictures out so that you can see them better. And I'm just gonna have to pick. If we were in class, I might pick a stick and that person can tell us what picture to find. But since you're watching this video, I'm just gonna pick them, okay? So let's start with bus. Say bus. What do you hear at the beginning of bus? I hope you said the letter B and the sound B. You should be saying those things out loud. That's great practice for your brain, for your mouth to make the sounds, and for your ears to hear them. We're gonna glue in this kind of empty space. Don't glue on top of the handwriting lines. We're gonna glue the bus down right there. And then what letter will we need to write on the handwriting lines? we will need to write the letter B. And remember, a B starts at the top line. So give yourself a starting dot if you need to. And pull down to the chocolate line, trace back up to the middle line, and curve around. And that's how we get a B. Remember, if I go too fast, you can pause the video, but I don't want the videos to be super, super, super long. So that's why I go a little bit faster than we do in class. Find the bug. And say bug. And do the action for what you hear at the beginning of bug. Is this the letter B or the letter D? We hear the letter B at the beginning of bug. So that'll go in this empty space in the box. And what will we write on the handwriting lines? Well, we will write another B. And I remember super easy that the B starts at the top because look, there's a starting dot there from the last one. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Pull down, trace back up, curve around, B. It's super nice that we can see, and it's going to be the letter B all the way down. That way we can make sure our round part is on the right side, the correct side of the stick part. So we can check that. If we get one where the round part's over here and the stick part's here, ooh, we made a D. We gotta fix that. Find the bag. Say bag. Do we hear b or d? Yeah, we hear b. Bag starts with the letter B and the sound b. And then we need to make another B. So I'm going to give myself a starting dot. Pull down, trace up. Oh my goodness, look where my starting dot was. Ah, that's too tall. Silly me, I'm using the wrong lines here. Good thing I have an eraser to erase and fix. Okay, there we go. Find the drum. Say drum. What do you hear at the beginning of drum? Is it b or d? Like dog, drum, dock. All start with the letter D and the sound D. Yay, we finally get to make a letter D. Does the letter D start at the top like the letter B? Start with the C to make a D. No, it does not. It starts at the middle. So I'm going to give myself a starting dot at the middle. And I have to make that C shape. And then push up and pull down. If we use those little rhymes and tricks to help us, we will make the letter D instead of the letter B. Find the boat and say boat. Do you hear b or d? Because it is the letter B that we hear at the beginning of boat. And we're back to making the letter B. So where will our starting dot go? At the top, just like all the other ones. And we pull down, trace back up to the middle line, curve around, and there's our letter B. Well, we have 3 pictures left and 3 spots under the letter D, so I hope they all fit there. Find the doll. Say doll. Does that start with the letter D and the sound D? Yes. Remember, if you think, maybe now you think you can finish it on your own. Fantastic. Do it. Finish it on your own and then come back to the video and check. That way, if you have to fix anything, you can fix it. What do we hear at the beginning of doll? A letter D. And we need to start with a C to make a D. So I'm giving myself a starting dot in the middle. And there's my letter D. Find the dress. What do you hear at the beginning of dress? Well, of course, it's the letter D. It's making sense because we have spaces there still to fill. And then we'll go to the starting dot. Start with a C to make a D. We have one last picture. Say desk. What do you hear at the beginning of desk? That's the letter D again. Good. We did it right. It fits. It's in our last space. Give yourself a starting dot at the middle. Start with a C to make a D. There we go. Now I'm going to show you what to do with your letters B and D. You need to flip your page over. And on the top, you're going to glue the letter B, and the letter D, And then we're going to use our pencil to show where the starting dot would be for each of these letters. The letter B starts at the top, and the letter D starts at the middle. Start with a C to make a D. And then your job will be to draw one thing that starts with the letter B and one thing that starts with the letter D. What could you draw for the letter B? You could draw a balloon. You could draw a basket. You could draw a blueberry. What could you draw for the letter D? Something that starts like D. A donut? A door? You get to decide. And then I would like you to share your pictures with me. So this is something you should definitely take a picture of so that I can see what you came up with for the letter B and for the letter D. You only have to do maybe one picture for each, one thing for letter B, one thing for letter D, or two if you wanted. But can't wait to see your pictures, what you think starts with the letter B and the letter D.